Hey everyone, Mr. K here. Today we're doing the GridWorld setup, and this is for Chapter 5, and it's a little bit complicated in order to get this thing up and running, especially considering all your computers, when they turn off, everything gets reset. So we want to basically put everything into your workspace for Eclipse, and then this way, whenever you come back in, or even if you end up moving to a different computer, everything is preserved, because there are some files that we have to bring in from other sources. Okay, so anyway, before you even do anything, you're going to need to download the code. I'll put the link in the description, but the link is also with the assignment, so hopefully you have this already. It's the zip file, and I believe you have 7-zip installed on your machines. If you can, right click and extract here, you'll end up getting this folder that says GridWorld code. I don't know if you have that in your context menu, so you might have to open it up and then just drag the folder out. Easy way to do it. Not very big, so it should be quick. But inside it there's a bunch of stuff. There's a gridworld.jar, which we're going to need later, and the other important thing is under projects we need BugRunner. Okay, the textbook says that we're going to take this and we're going to copy it into whatever our working space is. So excuse me. So we need a new project first. So first things first, Java project, and we're going to put it, for me, I'm going to put it in my YouTube working set, and we're going to call it GridWorld. Oh, I've already done this before. So YouTube GridWorld. I already have a project called GridWorld because I've done this once before. Sorry about that. Finish. And then underneath YouTube there is my GridWorld project. In here we're going to add a class like we normally would, and it doesn't really matter what we call it, but you know what, we're going to call it BugRunner. That it does matter what we call it. We're going to call it BugRunner. We'll check off main, we'll hit finish, and then there is our BugRunner empty class. But that's not what we want to use. We want to use this. So you're going to open up your BugRunner Java file. Ignore that. And we're going to take all of this, copy it, and then in here, paste it. So essentially what we did is we took everything from BugRunner.java, from the zip file, and put it into Eclipse. File has the same exact name, because remember, your class name has to match up with the file name. So that's why I called it BugRunner. Alright, now, you're going to notice that a lot of this stuff doesn't work because there's errors everywhere. And the big thing is up top here, our imports are not working. Now, an import we haven't dealt with yet. Basically, everything you've done up until this point is use Java's built-in functions. We haven't gone into anything where you need to import anything else. Everything's been built in. It's just there for you to use. We are importing extra stuff that people have made already, and we're going to use that to execute all this. So, in order to bring that in, we need to go back to our project here, and we're going to take this GridWorld jar and move it into our project. So I'm just going to copy this for now, and in YouTube GridWorld, we're going to show in System Explorer. This is going to open up your actual project folder in Windows Explorer. So here is my actual working space. There's my GridWorld folder. Open it up. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it lib. I believe it's short for library. When you're dealing with programming, a lot of people tend to have folders that are all lowercase and 3 letters. You will learn to understand why that is once you get into programming a bit more, because everything is done with typing. So capital letters, spaces, and long file names are a giant pain in the ass. So yeah, keeping everything short and lowercase is typically what they do. So anyway, in this lib folder, library folder, you're going to paste in your jar file. And then you're done with that, you can close it. Back in Eclipse, right click it, the project folder itself, and where is it? There it is. Refresh. You're going to refresh the folder, and your lib will pop up, and there's your jar folder. I'm sorry, your jar file, which by the way is Java archive. It is an archive of a bunch of Java stuff. It's going to include graphics and class files and whatever else it needs. Okay. Still got errors though. Jar file is there. This jar file contains everything that we need, but we're still spitting out errors. So we got to do one more thing. I'm going to right click the project folder again. And we're going to go to configure. Oh, not configure. Properties, excuse me. We're going to go to properties and Java build path. So the build path contains basically everything that's the compiler is going to look for when it's running your when it's compiling your code. Right now it's just looking for the default Java, which is version 1.8, at least on my machine. No idea what it is on yours. And we need to add our Java archive, our jar. Now we got two options here. This is not the one we want because that means it's not going to preserve. It's going to put in what they call an absolute file name, and if you move to a different computer it might not work as well, so we want to keep everything internal. So we're just going to add a jar, and our folder pops up. There's our lib, there's our jar. Hit OK, OK, and the errors disappear. Now you're free to run it. In fact, what you're going to be doing out of the student manual is basically playing with this. This is what it looks like when it runs. Hopefully this comes up for you. If it doesn't, please let me know and I'll come help you out. But your job is to play with this, and they're going to have you do different things. At the moment it just kind of moves around once you hit run. If you hit step, it does one thing at a time. But there's also things you can do by clicking on empty spaces, clicking on actual objects, clicking on flowers, clicking on the bug itself. I'm not going to go through all that. I want you to do that. It's basically, the first part of this is just basically break this. Alright, click on things. Just go nuts, because worst comes to worst. You close it, you run it again, and it loads up. Okay, the bug and the rock will be in a different spot, but at least you'll have a fresh thing. So no matter what you do, okay, zoom out, change the grid to an unbounded grid. That should be interesting. I wonder what happens here. Yep, there he goes, up off the top. Anyway, so even though I'm screwing this up, worst comes to worst, close it, run it again. Alright, I hope that's it, and bye.